Welcome to Sew Very Easy. My name is Laura, and in last month's newsletter, I did introduce you to a free pattern that was a free book, a ebook from Bernina. Now, you do not need to use a Bernina sewing machine to take advantage of these free books, and they're all online, free for use, and there is more than one. We can print these out or we can view them on the computer, and they have a lot of quick, fun projects in them, which gives us a chance to use different feet and different techniques on our machine. And the one that I thought would be really fun to make today are these burlap placemats. So we're going to learn how to fray burlap, which means we can fray any fabric, and we're going to use some cording. They're quick, they're fun, and I think they're going to be a lot of fun on an outside picnic table. The pattern for the placemats do have us put this word yum on the placemats. And that's a lot of fun to do. You can put names, you can put dates, you could put anything you want. So you could really customize these for what occasion you want. I'm going to bypass those words and get to how we're going to assemble them and how we're going to work with that burlap and putting that cording on top. When we get burlap, we can get a burlap like this, which is actually designed for outside covering our plants. You can also find a burlap for crafts and hobbies, which is just a little bit softer. Now, burlap is a very natural fiber, and the fibers are running in those two directions. And that is what's going to make this good to fray. So for each placemat, we're going to need 2 pieces of burlap, 19 inches by 15 inches. I could draw lines and cut them with scissors, and I can also use a rotary cutter. And I will just look and see if those fibers are fairly straight. They don't have to be exact. So with those 2 pieces of burlap, we're going to have a front side and a back side. The front side for that pattern is where we're going to put whatever monogram, whatever we're going to paint on that placemat, on that one side. So we're going to be able to paint on that and let it dry. Then we're going to be able to put those 2 layers together. And that way we'll see the painting on one side, but we won't see it on the other. And this will give us a nice thick placemat. I'm going to bypass that painting and go right to the construction. So I will be putting 2 sides together. So I want the nicest looking sides facing out. And then I'm going to sew a 3/4 of an inch. Now you can do more or you can do less. I'm going to do a full inch. So what I want to do is mark my fabric. We can use a wax marker or chalk. So I just want to place a line 1 inch all the way around, or whatever measurement you decided. I'm going to pin these together. I can go to the machine and do 1 row of straight stitching following that line. We're going all the way around in a square. We will not be stitching off in any of those areas. Now we can use clear monofilament thread or a thread that is going to match this burlap. With those 2 layers together, it definitely makes it very easy to work with. Now we are going to do some couching. And what that means is we're going to stitch on something like some cording, and we're going to do a zigzag so that it holds this cording down. Couching is a lot of fun, and we are looking for a foot that the cording can go in and that it won't get stuck on the back. So I'm going to be using foot 23, and it is a clear applique foot. It has a little opening so that I can do that zigzag, but when I turn it over, it has a channel in that back. So my yarn or cording will be able to fit right along that back. What you will want is for your cording to go under that foot. So the foot is going to be flat against the machine, and that cording will need to run out. So we need to have a little bit of space for that cording to run under the foot in that channel. So I'm going to be able to put this on my machine and put the cording in. Now, if you're having problems putting that cording in, you can get this little loop. And this loop you're going to find in the dental department. This is to help put floss in between your teeth. So I'm going to be able to put that cord in that loop. So it's like a big needle, and I'm going to thread that through. And I'm going to do that right at the machine. I'm going to use an all-purpose thread that is going to be matching my cording. I will be keeping that neutral thread for the bobbin. I'm going to be wanting a zigzag stitch that's going to hit on one side of that cording to the other. So that stitch is going to go back and forth. It does not need to be a tight stitch. So we can lengthen that to about a 3. And in my case, this little cording, I'm going to need a 2.5 to go back and forth. And I always recommend giving that a test. Oops. The cording can run right along the bottom of that foot, but it's going to stay more stable if we can put it in. And that's where this little loop for dental floss comes in handy. Put that cording right through that loop and then pull it through. Now that cord is going to stay in line for me, run along the back of the channel, and get stitched down all at the same time. Start with a little bit of that cording on the back so you can hold it, and you'll see the needle will go back and forth. Just hold it straight and let the machine do all of the work. And when I get to the corner, I do want to stop with my needle on that outside. Turn, pull your cording, and continue stitching. The idea is that cording is going to run easily along the bottom of that foot and get stitched down from the top. When we come to the end, we do need to join up these two pieces. I'm going to take that starting piece and cut it off right where I've started stitching. Then I'm going to stitch until I come right to this point. I can line that up. I'm going to lift up the foot, make sure that bottom is underneath. Stitch, go forward just a little bit. And then if you hold this fabric tight, it's going to prevent the fabric from moving just for a couple of stitches, and then cut it off. Pull that through, trim here, and now this is ready to go for our next one. So you can see that zigzag just went on each side, and because I used matching thread, you don't see it in the back. We're going to just be able to take those fibers and pull them off. So it's going to run from one side to the other. If we need, we can just use a little stiletto and just pull all of those fibers off. Once we're done the one edge, we're going to do all 4 edges and then flip it over and do those back edges. As we were fraying this, we're going to have those corners that will have that little square in them, and that is correct. And you're going to have a whole bunch of fibers that come off that area. Keep in mind, if you stitch over 1 inch, you are going to have a 1-inch fringe. If you stitch over 1/2 inch, you're going to have a 1/2 inch fringe. So your fringe is going to be determined by that first row of stitching and that couching all the way around. So that fraying technique and that couching technique is great not only for these fun placemats, it can be used for clothing, for the bottom of skirts, jackets, home decor, and blankets. Anything that has a loose fiber, we're going to be able to fray it. And well, couching can be done on almost anything. I'll put a link in the description to the free ebooks that do have the patterns. And as always, thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I do have a newsletter. It's all free under Sew Very Easy. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.